Dan Buettner has examined 5 places the world over where inhabitants are popular for their lifespan: Okinawa in Japan, Nicoya in Costa Rica, Icaria in Greece, and Loma Linda in California and Sardinia in Italy. Individuals living in these purported blue zones share certain elements, practically speaking, social encouraging groups of people, everyday practice propensities, and a plant-based eating regimen. First of all, be that as it may, they share another surprising shared characteristic. In every network, individuals are cultivating admirably into mature age, their 80s, 90s and past. Could supporting your green thumb assist you with living to 100? Disposition lift. It is notable that an outside way of life with moderate physical movement is connected to longer life, and cultivating is a simple method to achieve both. In the event that you garden, you're getting some low-force physical movement most days, and you will in general work routinely, says Buettner. He says there is proof that cultivators live more and are less pushed. An assortment of studies affirm this, highlighting both the physical and emotional wellness advantages of cultivating. In ongoing Dutch investigation, specialists requested that members complete an upsetting assignment, at that point split them into 2 gatherings. One gathering read inside and the other planted outside for 30 minutes. The gathering that read detailed that the disposition further decayed, while the plant specialists not just had lower levels of the pressure hormone cortisol subsequently, they likewise felt completely re-established to a positive mindset. Australian specialists following people in the 60s found that the individuals who consistently cultivated had a 36% lower danger of dementia than their non-planting partners. Furthermore, fundamental examinations among old individuals experiencing psychological issues, for example, dementia and Alzheimer's, report profits by garden settings and cultivation treatment. Daylight and outside air, for instance, help unsettled older folks feel more settled, while the hues and surfaces of different plants and vegetables can improve visual and material capacity. There is no panacea for developing old at the same time. The science recommends planting appears to improve our personal satisfaction as we age. Let nature support you. It's not just about well-being impacts, either. The social advantages of cultivating can likewise build lifespan. Dr. Bradley Wilcox of the University of Hawaii contemplates centenarians in Okinawa, which has the world's most noteworthy proportion of centenarians, at around 50 for every 100,000 individuals. Numerous inhabitants keep up little close-to-home gardens well into mature age. He says that cultivating assists with other fundamental, if to some degree progressively fleeting, factors in expanding lifespan. In Okinawa, they state that anyone who develops old invigoratingly needs an ikigai, or purpose behind living. Planting gives you that something to get up for consistently. What's more, clarifies Wilcox, Okinawans esteem the idea of uemaru, or an elevated level of social connectedness. Getting together at a nearby market, bringing your produce and sharing your most recent manifestations from the nursery is a major social movement, he says. That unquestionably assists individuals with feeling grounded and associated. Specialists in Scotland would now be able to recommend a stroll in nature to treat an assortment of infirmities, including decreasing circulatory strain and tension, and to improve by and large bliss. A feeling of association with others is significant, yet so too is the individual association with nature. One Harvard University study demonstrated that individuals who were encircled by rich greenery lived longer, with a lower possibility of creating disease or respiratory ailments. Planting, even on a little plot in an urban zone, is a basic method to fuse more nature into your everyday life. At last, there is additionally a dietary segment to lifespan that planting can help with. Scientists have exhibited a connection between the Mediterranean eating regimen, wealthy in vegetables, natural products, entire grains, vegetables, nuts, fish and olive oil, and more slow maturing. Wilcox says the crucial standard of eating a wealth of new vegetables, in a perfect world from nearby gardens and markets, is essential to lifespan, regardless of whether the eating regimen is in fact Mediterranean or not. In Okinawa, for instance, a great many people develop vegetables, for example, harsh melon and yams in their nurseries. At the point when you eat vegetables that you've developed yourself, it makes a huge difference, they taste increasingly delectable, and it truly has any kind of effect in the well-being characteristics, nutrients, minerals, phytoactive mixes and so forth, of the food itself, says Wilcox. Buettner, the Blue Zone's master, suggests an eating regimen of 90% plants, particularly greens and beans, and calls attention to a basic truth: plant specialists are bound to plant what they need to eat. Cultivating for a more extended life. In the case of cultivating is acceptable, is cultivating far and away superior? Huge numbers of the way of life factors related with lifespan, for example, living in the nation and getting loads of activity, apply to ranchers too. Some proof recommends that cultivating is perhaps the most advantageous occupation. One Australian examination indicated that ranchers were a third more averse to experience the ill effects of an interminable ailment, and 40% less inclined to visit a GP than non-ranch labourers. Analysts from the US looked at death rates among ranchers against rates for everybody and discovered ranchers more averse to kick the bucket from malignant growth, heart ailments or diabetes. Furthermore, concentrates in Sweden and France have likewise demonstrated ranchers are more advantageous than non-ranchers. Dr. Masahiko Gemma of Waseda University in Tokyo examined independently employed ranchers in the focal area of Saitama, who were found to have a more extended future than non-ranchers and work later into life. A large number of Gemma's respondents were low-maintenance ranchers or retirees, and he portrays a considerable lot of their obligations as, like crafted by keeping up a nursery. Little family cultivates are regular in Japanese agribusiness, says Gemma, clarifying that his overview did exclude ranchers working for enormous scope corporate activities. He found that independently employed ranchers appreciated factually noteworthy and positive changes in mental and states of being when participating in light cultivating exercises. Our conjecture is that cultivating work adds to the upkeep of good well-being and spirits, he says. Rude awakening. Despite the fact that Gemma's discoveries are delighting, not all cultivating looks like the conventional, low-tech Japanese model he depicts. Agribusiness is an industry in the vast majority of the Western world, and ranchers can encounter troublesome or perilous working conditions, high obligation and progressively computerized forms. The truth of what farming resembles, in any event in America, is gazing at a PC for whatever length of time that every other person, running frameworks for grill houses or horde regulation offices, or sitting in your cool joint watching recordings while you go across tedious GPS accuracy-guided fields, says Thomas Forrester, a New York-based food arrangement specialist to examine associations and UN offices. It's troublesome, at that point, to see cultivating as an enchantment slug against maturing. Neither cultivating nor planting will eventually ensure a more drawn-out life expectancy. Be that as it may, a portion of the way of life factors related with both, in particular heading outside, taking part in light physical action and eating a sound plant-based eating routine, might conceivably. At long last, it's everything about equalization. I utilize the similarity of a seat, says Wilcox. Diet, physical movement, mental commitment and social association are the four legs. On the off chance that you don't have one of them, you drop out of parity, and it can abbreviate future. Lifespan isn't around one single factor, it's about not endeavoring to share a heavenly body of all.